All right. So once again, welcome to today's flight from Myrtle Beach to Sumter. It's going to be an IFR flight due to the weather. I won't spend too much time on weather. I would like to spend it a little like elsewhere today. Suffices to say, the cloud layer seems to be around 1,000 feet. Winds are light to moderate, none too light on the ground, and around 30 or 20 knots up in the air. Icing shouldn't be a factor. We have like a freezing level, maybe 130, 140 even in our area here. Overcast, broken clouds, rain might be there or it might not. Doesn't really matter. Currently, it's not raining. Neither at the departure nor at the destination. So let's get on a little bit more. Route planning. It's an IFR flight, and today I will have a slant Golf aircraft. That means that I will have a GPS on it. The reason is I want to shoot a GPS or RF approach this time. We haven't officially briefed it yet in this series, so let's do that. And I would also like to show you how I calculate my time en route, fuel calculations, and so on. So this is a general route. It's already made based on the departure and arrival procedures. This point here is not part of the filed route. The filed route will end at the Florence. Is it Florence VOR? This one. This is the part of the approach already, as will be seen later on. Since I will have a GPS-equipped aircraft, I can start my my route at Cook because I can order a direct to it. All right. So let's actually start with fuel calculations, time en route, and so on. From this path, the sky vector tells me that it's 92 nautical miles. Actually, since I will be departing more likely to the south here, so it might take some additional miles. So we'll add some. And I have this file that I prepared myself for this particular aircraft. So I'll just make it maybe 96 miles that I'm gonna fly. And this is like me doing that, where I can plan the center of gravity, climb, cruise, and descent, and it will just give me my performance. So first of all, center of gravity that you need to plan. This is a payload sheet. What seats you have occupied, what baggage you have, what fuel you intend to pack, and then it will calculate all the weights and moments. So for this particular one, my takeoff weight should be around 4,800 pounds, and the moment is 1,700. And I can verify here in the envelope if I'm legal to fly. So how I would do that is I will find the weight here. That's almost 48. So I will take intersection of this line, and my moment is 1743. These are these diagonal, not diagonal lines, but those a little bit sloped lines. And 1743 will be summarized there. And I find the intersection there. And from that, I can see visually that I am within the permissible load, and my center of gravity is 36.5 maybe inches. So that's it. Then I will have my climb. These are the charts that you calculate like a climb from. The red one is like you put it into the temperature. On the x-axis here we have a temperature. It should be like 16 degrees. Then you find the pressure altitude. It's a sea level for departure. And then you move this to intersect one of those curves. Of course, we are starting at 0, so this will actually point to 0 every time. And it's logical because we are starting at sea level, whatever temperature we have. We just need to be there. The green is more interesting one, so let's check the data. I have checked from the like this, not destination, but departure kind of temperature of the airport. I calculated the standard temperature lapse of 8.1 Celsius. So I set this to 8 Celsius. Then I will raise this bar as far as the pressure altitude of 3770, which is, I estimate, this is 3,500, so probably someplace there. And then I will take my I will take this line here and I will intersect the correct curve. My weight is approximately 4,800 pounds, so that's just slightly to the right of the leftmost curve. So I'll put it someplace there. It's very similar here, so it doesn't matter that much. And then I will read how much time, fuel, and distance it will take me to climb to my cruising altitude of 4,000 feet. So it will take me 1 to 3 minutes. So I enter 3 minutes. Fuel is approximately 11, and distance is, I estimated that to be like 6.5. So this is the climb calculation. It will take me 3 minutes, 36 pounds of fuel, including taxi fuel, and distance is 6.5 miles. Then the descent. This is pretty simple. Again, conditions of the descent are given. To descend from 3760 to, and this says minus 58 because that's the pressure altitude of the destination, it takes me 7.5 minutes. So if I like put this to 7.5 minutes and this like altitude 3760, it will intersect this here and it's 7.5 minutes, approximately 18 pounds of fuel, and distance is 22 nautical miles. Of course, if there is no wind. And then cruise. I will select just the RPM and manifold pressure I want to fly, and based on these tables, this will interpolate for me what speed, what my true airspeed is, what my fuel consumptions should be, and what percent of brake horsepower I should set on the engine. The speed is, of course, this changes not only with temperature and altitude and RPM and manifold pressure settings, but also with weight of the aircraft, and it's all calculated here. So having those three completed, I now have a table. I fill in my cruise altitude, total distance to fly, average wind. Average wind I got from the navigation log of that I put that I generated at SkyVector. I can show you. If I generate this log, it will tell me that for my true airspeed, my ground speed will be most of the time like 136, 136, 134. So that's 25 knots less. So my average headwind component would be 25 knots. So that's what I input here. And from all that, it will tell me that my climb should take 3 minutes and the distance is 6.5. That's what I directly calculated. My descent should be approximately 7.5 minutes and the distance is 18.8, so a little bit less than I calculated. The climb, that doesn't take wind into effect. This one does a little bit. I just need to correct it still. and the cruise should take me about 30 minutes. Then it will calculate the fuel that I need. I have a 45-minute reserve that is needed for an IFR flight plan, and I will then also enter the alternate destination here, which I haven't done yet, to have an extra fuel. Without that alternate destination, it tells me that I need to pack 257 pounds of fuel, and currently I have loaded 458 pounds, so I'm good. I have quite more than I need to. So that's it. I just wanted to show you all of this comes from the performance charts and performance tables. It's just put in here. That brings me to the alternate selection, because if the forecasted weather at my destination 1 hour before and 1 hour after the estimated arrival is if the ceiling is less than 2,000 feet, and or if the visibility is lower than 3 nautical miles, then I need to file an alternate. I'm looking at and now our current destination doesn't have a TAF, but there is an airport like 10 miles of it that does have a TAF, so I will just use that. And it tells me that the weather estimation is overcast 1,500 feet AGL and visibility is good. So since the ceiling is forecasted to be lower than 2,000 feet, I need to find a suitable alternate. Now, the alternate minima in that case apply, and that means that as an alternate, I can only have an airport that fulfills the weather minima for alternate. The standard weather minima are 600 feet and 2 statute miles of visibility for precision approaches, and 800 feet of ceiling and again 2 statute miles of visibility for non-precision approaches. So looking at the sky vector, there is some Air Force base very, very close to it, but I would say that I can legally file it because the weather minima is like that is the forecast that I was just showing. So it is above 600 or 800 feet. I'm just thinking that if I need to divert for any reason from here, the weather at this location would probably be like identical. So for that reason, I might choose something maybe there. And in that case, I just need to open it and verify that I can file it as an alternate. So I'll bring up some approach plate. Let's see that I would like to forego RNAV, and let's look at some ILS. And if I open it, I can say that it is possible to have as an alternate. If it would not, it would say this A and A. But it also states that there are alternate weather minima published for this. I should be able to select the alternate minima here, or minimums. Columbia Metro. I'll just search for Columbia Metro. That's this. 111 ILS localizer runway 11, number 1 localizer category C, category D, category E. Okay, so if I choose localizer approach and I'm at category C, D, or E, my weather minima goes up from 600 to 900 and from 2 statute miles to 2.25 statute miles. And similarly, so for me, it means that standard weather minima apply because it doesn't say so here. It doesn't alter them in any way for me. And since the weather forecast at this destination seems to be overcast 900 feet, so it is a legal target for us. and visibility is better than 2 nautical miles. So I'll just file this one as my alternate. Kilo Charlie Alpha Echo. And I'll just put it here. Now, since I have this alternate, I need to find out how far that is from here. And let's say that I will eyeball it to 40 nautical miles. And I'll add it here, and hopefully it should extra fuel 33. I still have more than enough fuel for this flight. Any questions to the planning? If not, I'll continue. So that was time and route fuel calculations, alternate, all done. So departure. As always, even though we are doing this briefing, check that weather shortly before departure. File a flight plan and determine runway and departure procedure. That's like, we will do that now. Winds are currently favoring runway 18. I have copied the takeoff minima section for Myrtle Beach, and it doesn't have any departure procedure. The country is just flat around us, so we can basically take off and at a safe altitude turn on course. If we are taking off visually, which we probably aren't due to the clouds, then we would we could maybe perform standard VFR departure and then turn on course. I plan to take off, climb a little bit, and then turn direct Cookie, which is my first en route waypoint. Radio calls. I will just mention what to expect if we have ATC, because if we don't have an ATC, we just treat it as self-announced stuff like VFR flight from the uncontrolled field or untowered field. So we would do something like that. It would be clearance delivery November 123 Alpha, 123 Alpha Bravo, IFR to Sumter. They would reply something like November 123 Alpha Bravo delivery, clear to Sumter via, and then they would give you the route. So maybe it would be fly runway heading, radar vectors to Cookie, then as filed, maintain 4000, or climb and maintain 4000, departure with me, squawk 1234. And you would just read that back. And when you are ready to taxi, you would call up the ground. You would announce your call sign, your position, so in that case, general aviation ramp, and that you want to taxi with, and the letter is the ATIS information that you have. If the ATIS is not published on VATSIM for this field, then you can say, taxi, I have the weather. Optionally, you can request intersection departure. We are here at general aviation ramp. This runway is 9,500 feet long, so most of us would be even able to depart from Bravo 2, right? Let's see. Normally, if you are at the uncontrolled field, it's the best thing to do is to taxi all the way, because kind of that is what others might expect. For this flight, we can agree that maybe we will use Bravo 4. So we don't need to taxi that long. So let's use Bravo 4 if we are alone at the airport. If there are some other people, let's use Bravo 5. Then when you are there and you are after your run up and ready for departure, you don't need to wait for the ground to hand you over. You contact tower directly that you are at runway 18 at Bravo 4, ready for IFR departure. And then they will give you a clearance. Optionally, they will tell you what to do shortly after takeoff. And then when you take off, tower will hand you over to another controller. If we have just a center online, then of course you call center for all of these. and be done with it. If we don't have anyone online, we just self-announce a standard VFR departure. Yeah, I forgot to mention, if you have any questions during the briefing, just speak up and we'll take it right away. Otherwise, I'm moving forward. Okay, en route portion. The en route portion is not that long today. So as always, you keep track of your progress. There might be some handoff between controllers if we are in a heavily controlled area. And as always, you need to prepare for arrival. So before starting the approach, you should already know what kind of arrival and approach you will choose and be ready for that. Then the ATC can actually, or you can contact ATC if you feel that you would like to already know what to do. So you can call them that you have an approach request, and you can request a specific approach. If you don't do that, they might call you themselves asking, if you have an approach in mind. If they give you right away some different approach, you can either accept it or you can request another one. There might be some like handovers that you should contact someone. In that case, you read that back and contact them. If we were flying in like a full staffed positions, then a very good thing to do if you are approaching the airfield that has like arrival controller, approach controller, it's very good to tell them on your initial contact that for example, Sumter approach, even if they don't have approach, November 123 Alpha Bravo 4000 with Delta, if they have an ATIS published, so they already know that you have the weather. I will come back to this portion after I brief the arrival, because it has some terminology that I want to explain first. Man, the time flies really fast. Cannot understand. I'm already talking for almost 30 minutes. Oh my. Okay, so arrival. I have picked this RNF runway 23 arrival because it's something new on our flights. And how to fly that? Let's discuss the lateral first. You can see that we have several initial approach fixes: Sikvo, Gok, and Alva. And you can start the approach from any one of those. If you start from Sikvo, you can see that there is no procedure turn involved. If you start from Alva, again, no procedure turn. And I just today found out that if it says no procedure turn, not only does it mean that you don't need to do that procedure turn, it also means you are not permitted to do that procedure turn, like a halt in lieu of procedure turn. Again, you can ask the controller that you want to do that, and in that case you can, but if not, then you are not permitted to do that. And there's this segment here that also says no procedure turn. And let's discuss those segments a little bit. Those are called TAAs, Terminal Arrival Area. And this is very similar to the minimum safe altitude like circles that you can find on regular approaches. Only this is different that this one, this GPS point actually is this GOG GPS point. And here as well, you can see 30 nautical miles to Tsikvo, 30 nautical miles to GOG, and 30 nautical miles to Alva. And this says is that this is the minimum altitude in this sector that you can descend to. So if you are coming from here, which we will be coming, then you treat GOG as your initial approach fix, and within 30 nautical miles, you can already be at 2,400 feet there in this sector. Similarly, if you're coming from this direction, the SIGVO will be your initial approach fix. And again, the safe altitude is the same, or minimum altitude is the same. For this sector, there are two numbers. So 19 nautical miles, it's 2,400. And from 19 to 30, it's 3,100. And you don't need to follow any specific track within that. Of course, if you are cleared to go direct, you go direct, but it doesn't matter from which direction you arrive. As long as you are within those 30 nautical miles, you are already within the published approach area of this chart. So when we come here, and by necessity we will cross a GOG or we don't need to cross it. It's a fly-by point. It's not fly-over point. So you can make a turn in a way that you kind of align yourself here. You don't need to overfly this point. We will be at 2,400 feet, and then we will follow this path here. Vertical profile is listed there. Again, this is the minimum altitude. You can be higher. As you noticed, we have 6 nautical miles to the final approach fix and just 500 feet to descend. So if you compute your VNAV profile in a way that you will be higher at GOG than 2,400 feet, all is good. Just make sure that here you are at 1,900 feet, because that's the final approach fix, and from there you should be descending like a stabilized approach. The weather minima, if you are RNAV VNAV capable, it's 460 feet. For LPV, it's 382, and just for our LNAV mode, that means that you don't have any vertical guidance. And you need to kind of do that either in steps or just compute that. It's 540. And again, for circling, it's even higher. Now I will go one page back, because now we explained what the TAAs are, and we can understand the terminology that the ATC might tell us. And I will also show the map first. Remember, the TAA was defined as 30 nautical miles from GOG, and this is GOG here. And if you can see, this portion from GOG to Florence VOR is 28 nautical miles. So at a point that we are crossing this, we are already within the terminal arrival area, and we are already like in the approach, in the published approach section of this, and that might become important for the radio calls, because you might be cleared for the approach before reaching the TAA or after, or usually you are cleared before, but let's say that some things might be different. So let's get to it. Let's say that you are flying on the route, and they will tell you, so proceed direct GOG, and then maintain at or above 4,000 until entering the TAA, cleared RNAV runway 23 approach. And let's say that you are at that point flying at 6,000 feet, and they will tell you this. So what they are telling you is that maintain at or above 4,000 if you are currently at 6,000 means that they are giving you permission to descend at your discretion by this. You don't need to descend to 4,000 when you have this, because they tell you maintain at or above. If they would tell you descend or maintain 4,000, then it's bounding and you need to go to 4,000. So if they give this to you before you enter the TAA, it's at your discretion if you want to descend already or not. If you decide that you want to descend already, then you also need to inform the ATC at your top of descent point. Remember that. So if they tell you this and you are at 6,000 and you decide that you want to descend to 4,000 before, then you would initially reply something like direct GOG, maintain at or above 4000 until TAA, cleared RNF runway 23 approach, November 123 Alpha Bravo. And then at the top of descent point, if the descent starts before reaching the TAA, you would call them something like November 123 Alpha Bravo, leaving 6000, descending 4000. That's to tell them that now you started the descent. The situation is different if you are already within the TAA and if you were cleared for RNF23 approach. Because if you were cleared for that approach and you are within the TAA boundaries, that means that you are already at the approach, the published approach segment, and you don't need to announce your altitude changes anymore, because they will expect that you will descend, of course. Is there someone who doesn't understand the distinction starting the descent before and after crossing the TAA boundary? Okay, hopefully not. Okay, so let's say that you are within the TAA and you are approaching GOG, and at that point you might receive something like that from the controller: report IFR cancellation or missed approach on this frequency, change to advisor, frequency approved, or something like no traffic observed between you and the airport, report cancellation, blah 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 blah. Anything, either this or something like between that, you can get that, and you can just say something like Wilco frequency change approved. And this is a normal procedure if you are coming into untowered field and you are under IFR. There is a one in, one out rule that's very important, and until you report the IFR cancellation, they cannot clear anyone else for the approach, for any approach to that field. And similarly, they cannot let any IFR traffic to depart that airport either. So if you are approaching and you see that the weather is good enough and you don't risk running into clouds or anything, you know that you don't need to go mist and so on. And if you need to go mist, you can do VFR go around instead. If the conditions are really good, then you can cancel IFR cancellation already in the air. And that will allow the controller to actually clear other aircraft for the approach. So that's en route. And then when they hand you over to frequency change approved, means tune in Unicom, VATSIM Unicom, and start talking there and to give traffic advisories. So you would do something like a Sumter traffic, November 123 Alpha Bravo is a type Cessna 172. Currently, let's say, what was that? Maybe 10 miles northeast of the airport on the RNF runway 23 approach. And then you could call also like distances on the final, maybe 6 miles, 3 miles, and so on. And of course, then you call that you vacated the runway and that you are taxiing to parking. If at this point you still haven't canceled your IFR plan, then you tune in to the center frequency again and just cancel the IFR plan. Or you can do that when shooting the approach if you have time for that. All right.
Maybe one question regarding the mist procedure on an uncontrolled field. Let's say I have to go around and the clouds are too low to cancel IFR ahead of time. Do I just fly the published mist or do I call the controller when I'm climbing upwind of the runway?
If the weather is not good enough, you are shooting the approach, you are coming in, and you see that it's questionable if you are able to maintain VFR conditions, then you don't cancel the IFR plan. And
Okay.
you
sorry.
execute as missed, and as soon as possible, because it's aviate, navigate, communicate. So as soon as it's feasible for you, you will go back to center and you announce that you are flying the missed procedure, and they will tell you what to do.
Okay.
They can tell you fly is published, or they can tell you something else.
Okay, thank you.
if you already cancelled IFR plan and the weather was not good enough, I'm not exactly sure what you would do, but you can still fly the missed procedure and contact them anyway, contact center anyway. That's what you do. And they would either, I don't know if it's possible to like reactivate the plan, or they will just issue you, the, what is it, pop-in or something like, quick IFR plan or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions to the flight? I will check if we have any controller online in the meantime. Nope, we are still control-less. Flying there, this path. Okay, you are at liberty to ask me any questions during the flight. I will still listen in to Discord. I will also be streaming this flight. I do encourage you to fly. If you are not able, then feel free to watch me instead. And see you at Sumter. And happy flying.
See you there.
All right, it's time for flying. Let's load the aircraft to what I calculated with. I should have approximately, okay, 201, 209, that's it. That's it, and this is good. Okay, I will clean my aircraft because it's starting to be dirty. Okay, it's not so dirty, I guess. All right, the weight is all right. All right. So let's start the aircraft and enter the flight plan and yada. So we are able to fly this lag. Should be interesting. Okay. So battery goes on. Fuel selectors to main. That's good. All the circuit breakers are in. Navigation light, anti-collision light. Let's turn on the alternators and the magnetors.
Clear prop!
And let's start that engine. Left one first. Right. Fuel pump on. Needs to be in the green. Right one. Fuel pump on. Looks good. Very well. Avionics can go on. Okay, let's do 2000. Stand by for now. Flight plan. So that's cookie. Then we have airway. That one, yes. All the way to Florence, and that's it. Let's preview. Flight plan. Looks good. Well, actually, let's see what it does if I already load the approach on the ground.
Myrtle Beach traffic Delta 4862 taxiing to runway 18 via Charlie 6 Alpha 6.
I want to do RNF23 today.
Myrtle Beach
Transition
traffic, Cessna
is
692
go.
Delta, departing runway 18 from Bravo 4 intersection, left 45-degree departure, Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Twin Cessna Golf Uniform Lima, Lima taxiing runway 18 at Bravo 4 via Bravo from the GA ramp, Myrtle Beach.
Okay, that looks good. Altitude will be 4,000. I will try to, of course I'm flying, I'm hand flying the plane, so should not need that. Let's verify the weather. What is the altimeter setting? Overcast altimeter 3011. It actually dropped a little bit. 301.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Skyhawk 629 Lima, taxiing to runway 18 from the GA ramp via taxiway Bravo, Myrtle Beach.
Right. We have some clouds, so I will do some lighting here. That's good. And maybe, yeah, let's warm this up a little bit. Great. I think we can go. Yep. Myrtle Beach traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, Twin Cessna, taxiing from General Aviation Ramp to runway 18 at Bravo 4, Myrtle Beach. Okay. And I'll just lean that for taxi.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Cessna 692 Delta, passing 1,500, leaving the pattern, turning north, final call, Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Kodiak 36 X-ray at Bravo 4, departing runway 18, straight out departure, Myrtle Beach.
And just to be sure, I will also tune in the Florence VOR, just to have some cross-check. That's 115.2, and I will try that with my controller 115.2. Florence DME good. And
Myrtle Beach traffic, Delta 4862 is holding short, runway 18, the Alpha 6.
And this is 121 that I will fly. No, 121 is the radial. So my tail is on 121.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Delta 4862 lining up.
Yes. But of course, switching it to GPS for now.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Twin Cessna Golf Uniform Lima, Lima is holding short 18 at Bravo 4, departing number 2 behind the Delta, Myrtle Beach traffic.
Actually looks like there's some airliner there.
Yeah, it's a Delta flight.
Okay, I haven't heard them yet, so...
He was on Unicom.
Ah, okay, so I was not on Unicom at that time, I guess. Alright. But has he informed that he's taken the runway?
Yep, he caught line up and wait.
Ah, okay, yeah. It was just must
Myrtle
have
Beach
missed it.
traffic, Kodiak 36 X-ray, upwind runway 18, 1200, climbing 6000, turning east, direct cookie, final call, Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Delta 4862, departing runway 18.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
You're only listening to the GA traffic today.
Okay, so we have an airliner Delta flight. Even a good livery is to be seen. Very well. Okay, let's do parking brake.
Just gonna hold here for a minute for the wake turbulence.
Make it 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Well, if you depart before him, then you are safe. If you don't cross his path, you know, and below them.
But then I have to outclimb the jet.
Come again?
I have to climb out faster than him, right?
Yeah.
If that's the case, or turn away from him.
Yeah, or turn away. Or just, you know, it isn't modeled here in the simulator. So
Yeah, I'll just go.
Traffic Delta 46, climbing through 3000.
Stop holding up traffic.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Golf Uniform Lima is departing 18 at Bravo 4, making a left downwind departure to the north. Myrtle Beach traffic.
okay, 1700 RPM. Both engines. And let's test those magnetos. This is good drop. And again, good drop, not too much difference. Engines are in the green. Let's test the feathering. Looks good. And idle. Engines running.
Myrtle
Good.
Beach traffic, Skyhawk 6529 Lima is departing 18, making a left crosswind departure, Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Golf Uniform Lima is left crosswind 18, Myrtle Beach.
Okay, let's do altitude reporting there.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Golf Uniform Lima turning left downwind 18, Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, Twin Cessna departing, runway 18. It's gonna be a left downwind departure, Myrtle Beach. Okay, landing lines and strobe lines go on.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Skyhawk 65 left crosswind departure, Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach traffic, Golf Uniform Lima is departing the pattern to the north, climbing 1500 for 6000. Last call, Myrtle Beach.
Okay, brakes and gear up. Myrtle Beach traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo at 1700, climbing 4000, final call, Myrtle Beach. Okay, and we'll just go direct. Cookie. First of all, we'll just turn here, parallel the runway. I can turn off the fuel pumps. Again, and if possible, I want to accelerate to 112, 120. Okay, let's order direct. Flight plan, cookie, yes. Let's fly there.
I'll try and practice the ILS 2-3 today. Set the same initial fix.
I shall be sharing that with you.
Feeling the pressure now.
No, the more the merrier.
For life from Watson.
Say again?
Banned for life from Watson for that approach.
We're supposed to be heading east, right?
Totally.
I hope not.
Ignore me if anybody took that seriously.
That's 4000.
I got kicked out of the group for misinformation.
After my performance on Sunday, I'm not so sure if I can comment on anyone's performance anymore.
I don't remember a thing from Sunday.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
What
let's
But
Sunday?
myself to sleep, forgot all
21,
of it.
Yeah.
22.
I think I'll join you guys on the ILS. That makes 3 of us to be banned.
Is everyone so afraid of RNF approaches?
Just,
Slant Alpha.
Okay.
That's my excuse.
I just use RNF approaches all the time. I wanted to try something new, like it's directly inverted to you guys. I go RNF, you go ILS, now you go RNF, I go ILS.
Okay. I use normal approaches, most of the time, so RNF is something that I don't do that often.
I still have a healthy distrust of the G1000, so on ILS approach you can just tune in the glide path thingy localizer and yeah, be done with it.
I hope you'll at least hand fly it.
I did actually practice, so I'll attempt to hand fly it.
Yeah. You will need to do that on the P2 check ride and practice flight, so better get used to it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
But as it stands today, I'm like at least a year away from the from any check ride P2. I can't use the Kodiak anyway. I'm waiting for the Just Flight Pipers to be updated so I can use those.
I'm hand flying all the way, and I'm gonna get burnt out before I reach Florence, I think.
Why?
Pilot now in cruise. So
I just, you know, with the C-170, the trim is absolutely beautiful. With the 152, I just keep going up and down the whole time.
I don't, but I have it like separately coded at the SPAD next, so it helps, I guess. It's not so sensitive.
Maybe you can help me with that after. That'd be cool. I have SPAD next. I have no idea how to use it. Yeah, I have basic profiles, but.
Ah, okay. Yeah, well, I can definitely send you, the setting for my trim that I use.
That'd be really super helpful, thank you.
And I only use the Bravo trim wheel.
Yeah, that's what I'm using as well.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Let's talk.
But now that I mentioned it, it's totally behaving itself now.
Okay. Hello, someone is to my left wing. Very close.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
How you doing?
We are converging on Cookie.
this point is only big enough for one of us.
I'll go ahead and vector off to the left a little bit.
That's all right. Keep flying. I believe that I will overtake you. So I'm already at your level. So.
Okay, I'm sure you will overtake me.
And there be fighting words.
So something they would never allow if there was a controller about.
Let's get spammed with proximity alerts, I guess.
Yep.
If you want to do a formation flight, they will just tell one of you to squawk, squawk standby. Like I think in one of these VATSTAR events, the controller asked me, "Do you have a wingman?" I was like, "No," because there's someone directly under you. Oh.
It's good that the clouds are like, we are above clouds already.
I can just about see the ground. I'm on a 2000 though. I'm trying to keep under the wind. I'm legal though, I'll have you know.
All right then. I'll keep checking if the controller shows up or not. I'm all the way like battling, with if I want to fly like a continuous, like from the previous destination, or if I rather want to fly under ATC, and it's always like battling inside me what to do.
I do like the idea of continuity, like going from one place to another.
Yeah.
It's just a shame we don't have ATC all the time, but hey.
And as you can see, that one always wins with me, so we are flying continuously.
Have you got an end goal in sight, or is there a plan, or are you just winging it?
No, I'm just winging it. For now, it's Florida and Key West there, and it's still like 2-3 months away until we get there. So, and then I wanted to fly west.
Sounds like a grand adventure to me.
Yeah, it will depend on the interest, of course. You know, if there will be people flying and enjoying these flights with me, then I'll just I'll just continue, you know, with them. But if I were to fly alone all the time, it's probably not worth doing the briefings.
Yeah, no, you put a lot of effort into that, and that's really cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know. I think there will always be at least 3 or 4 people around to fly with you. I mean, why not? It's a cool activity.
Yeah, I might not be able to make every week, but I'll certainly try.
Yeah, that's perfectly all right. You know, if at least, you know, one is flying, then it's worth to me. So there you have it, and the more the merrier. Right, we're still doing good. Next waypoint. Yeah, 4 minutes. Is there someone flying 5,500 feet? The second one?
Yeah, I'm descending now down to 3,000.
3,000, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly in the clouds a little bit.
Huh. Don't like the scenery.
No, too ugly.
So the aircraft's sitting quite nicely. Maybe a little bit of rudder trim. The outside temperature, it's very warm here. It's around 10 degrees. Nice.
Thomas, you were talking about the P2 check ride earlier. If you're flying slant alpha, would it be likely that the instructor would vector you in for the ILS?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
No problem. I was using the JPL 152 for both P1 and P2.
Yeah, that's what I'll be using for the P2, I think.
It's almost too easy with G1000.
I know, it just kind of takes the fun out of it for me. It's yeah. I like making my life as difficult as possible.
Yeah. You know, because I remember, you know, from me doing this that P2 check ride in that 152 without any moving map or whatever, and it might be difficult to stay, you know, on the glide path and on the, you know, on the localizer. And especially so when you are coming closer to the ground, because it becomes so sensitive. If you have that G1000 unit, you know, as I've seen with some of the students, it's perfectly allowed, so no problem with that. But the thing is that on your G1000, you see that runway, you know, you are not flying in IMC in that case, because you see that runway.
With the synthetic view?
Yeah. You have that circle there, so you know exactly where you are heading, you know, where your track is going.
You can turn that off, though.
Huh? Sorry?
You can turn that off, though.
You can turn it off, but why would you?
Yeah. Well, you could simply make it a requirement.
But you know, these avionics are allowed, so we cannot, you know, require anyone to turn it off.
Yeah, but it's also required to fly in IMC, and if you can use synthetic vision, that's not IMC. Well, that's how I interpret it, but yeah.
Yeah, it is IMC. You know, you are using tools at your disposal, so you can do that. And still, there are people that would, you know, mess up being on that glide slope, even though that circle actually, you can just point that circle, you know, on the beginning of the runway, and you just ensure that you are on the glide path, right?
Yeah, you could.
You don't even need to watch that ILS. And since, you know, the instructor is not with you in that plane, they would never know that you are flying it in a GPS.
Actually find it quite hard to use the little green indicator. Or even with the G1000, if I hand fly, I watch the glide slope indicator. Just bigger and more sensitive. At least for me, I don't know.
Yeah, that's correct. You know, it is an ILS approach, so you need to follow the ILS guidance, not your GPS.
I mean, for the actual check ride, I think I'll use a steam gauge plane and maybe with a GNS 530. I still need plenty of practice hours, so.
I learned to sim with the G1000, and it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's especially in real life, I'll be happy to have something like that. But for me personally, I want to be able to rely on, if something goes wrong with that, just to rely on the gauges.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. You know, especially I believe in real life, it takes also quite much time to actually learn to operate the G1000 properly. So it might even be a disadvantage initially, because you just need to learn to fly the plane first and then to manage the systems. But I'm surprised that there are not two separate, you know, ratings, that you are either rated for steam gauges or you are rated for you know, G1000 or similar, because it can be so different, and both ways. If someone flies just steam gauges, they might be utterly lost, you know, with G1000, but probably manage better than people that were, you know, flying G1000 their whole life, and then, you know, they transition to steam gauges and they are lost completely. You know, no fancy outside view, you know, through the screen, the synthetic view, and nothing like that. It can be quite disconcerting, I believe, for such people.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a different skill set. It's ideally become proficient at both. That's the goal, I think.
Yeah, that would be the best, the ideal.
Until you just exclusively fly glass and then you forget it.
That just reminds me of my discussions at the archery club, like the traditional archers versus the modern archers, all their gizmos and stuff and sights, and the traditional archers with like nothing. It's pretty much the same discussion, just like with with different toys.
Yeah, we're all the same, really.
Yeah, that's the same kind of thing.
But as long as you realize my toy is better than your toy, that's all that matters.
Of course. That goes without saying. That goes without saying.
That's all I really want.
Yeah, I still want to believe that for someone that is accustomed to flying the gauges, it's like less difficult to transition to G1000. But maybe I'm just kidding myself, I don't know.
I don't know, I haven't flown G1000 for a while, and I tried the other day, and I didn't like it at all. I used to be fairly good at it and was comfortable, knew what I was doing. Now I look at it and I want to go back to steam gauges straight away.
And it also has this kind of retro feel to it.
Oh, definitely. The cramped. I can smell the cockpit as well here.
Yeah. I just wish there's like one difference I would like to make to the simulators, and I don't know why they didn't incorporate it. I strongly believe that the vertical speed indicator should be much more delayed than it is. As it is, it basically shows, you know, like instantaneous changes.
Yeah, I think I remember reading in the books that it was, and I could be totally wrong, but it was better to look at the altimeter, so use the horizontal indicator in the altimeter to gauge. It was more reliant than the vertical speed.
Yeah, in the simulator you can use the vertical speed indicator easily because it reacts, you know, instantaneously. But in real life, it has like, it shows you what your vertical speed was 3 seconds ago.
Okay, so it's slower in real life.
Yeah. And you know, it's by necessity. Continue?
You really want to watch your attitude indicator then.
Yes, altitude indicator for changes, you know. Because altitude indicator is instantaneous also in real life. Vertical speed indicator is not, you know, by design. It cannot be instantaneous because it needs to compute the rate of change, and in order to compute the rate of change, you need to have that rate established. So you need to have, you know, the difference per time. So most often, I believe it's really those 3 seconds that it is delayed. So it will calculate, you know, the from the instantaneous air pressure and the air pressure that was there 3 seconds ago. You have the difference, and it knows that it's 3 seconds, so it will calculate the rate at which you are changing altitude.
And 3 seconds is quite a big gap when you're flying.
Yeah, because if you make it only 1 second, then it would be much more erratic, right? You know, the needle would be kind of.
Yeah.
Because I was like watching some videos and I could tell it, you know, the guy started climbing, you know, and the vertical speed just shows 0, 0, 0, and then it would go up, you know. So if you are trying to maintain altitude, let's say during the turn, the vertical speed indicator is a very poor instrument to use.
It kind of depends on the model that you're flying though, right?
You mean in the simulator or in real life?
Yeah, in the simulator. Like some of the simulators, there's a big lag. It seems to be behaving fairly realistically.
I would actually like to see what will be the A2A implementation. You know, at this point, I believe it very well might be the simulator kind of limitation that it cannot, you know, be implemented with the delay. I don't know. There is
I'm not sure. I was just kind of shooting in the dark. I was kind of guessing.
Yeah, you know, I believe if I really concentrate on it, that maybe there is a very slight delay, but maybe half a second or so. It's
yeah.
In real life, they would not be able to calculate, you know, the rate.
Before.
Well, my simulator crashed a little while ago, so I just needed to take off again, and hopefully it will hold this time.
Sumter traffic, Kodak 36 X-ray, flying the published code at sequel at 2000, Sumter.
I might actually have time to fly this thing then. Maybe I'll drop in. I think it was just, you just said 3 waypoints on there, no
Sumter
SID,
traffic,
no star.
Cessna 6902 Delta, Adcock, established on ILS 23, Sumter.
I didn't hear you through over the radio. I mean, I heard the radio, but I didn't hear you, Andrew. What you were speaking.
You just had 3 waypoints on there, no SID, no star.
Yeah, we are flying GA aircraft, so no SID, no star.
Sumter traffic, Skyhawk 6529 Lima, established on the ILS number 2, behind the 152 Sumter.
I had quite a different destination in mind today, but that would require a VFR flight. So that's the reason why I'm taking you inland, so it's approximately the same distance to that destination for next week.
Good.
If we can get
It's
a
good
VFR flight.
practice.
What is good practice?
Just flying instrument by hand.
Oh yeah. But that's the reason, because I noticed some of you like debated why we are, you know, diverting from going down, going south. But that's the reason. So next time, hopefully there will be visual weather, and we can fly to the destination that I wanted to fly to. And also the kind of route will be more kind of interesting, because it would not be just follow the coast.
Sumter traffic, code 36 X-ray, going one more round in the published hold at Sequel, Sumter.
Was the weather bad?
Sumter traffic, Cessna 6902 Delta, 5 mile final, runway 23.
I was testing out before at 6,000 feet, west 45.
Yeah, it's just very windy.
Not winds.
Windy.
Oh, gusty.
Yeah, you're better off 3,500. I guess 4,000 if you're flying west.
Okay, I guess it's time to descend, so let's put my landing light on
Runway
and fuel
36.
pumps.
Kind of takes the fun out of it when you can see the runway.
Sumter traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, Twin Cessna, approximately 1-2 miles northeast of the airport. We'll be flying RNAV 23 approach, Sumter.
Okay, our nav approach, nice.
Sumter traffic, Cessna 6902 Delta, short final, runway 23, Sumter.
Yeah, I wanted to fly something different tonight. I usually just turn off my map and fly standard navigation, and today it's GPS. And I have obviously restarted my stream, so whoever wants to watch can.
Sumter traffic, Skyhawk 6529 Lima on 5 mile final for runway 23, Sumter.
Okay, let's tune in 230 in here. Okay, 2,400. I should have not descended more until I am after GOG.
Sumter traffic, Kodiak 36 X-ray, 1 minute from Sikwo.
/A
After
on
that we'll
your
go
flight plan?
direct GAR for the ILS runway 23, Sumter traffic.
Okay, GOG direct. No, it should, let's see. Load and activate. Map. No. Flight plan. No, this one. Remove
Sumter
hold.
traffic, Cessna 6902 Delta, vacated runway, Sumter.
Activate lock. Yes. Once more. Activate. Yes. Okay.
Sumter traffic, Kodiak 36 X-ray, direct GAR 2,000 feet, Sumter.
Okay, too low. Yeah, that was badly done. That was badly done. Too much distraction. So let's climb back. Sumter traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, 6 mile final, runway 23, Sumter. Well, I can see the runway. Don't know if it's correct or not, but I can. Okay, I'll set 2,400 here. That's a missed approach altitude. I would have thought that this vertical starts to move, but it just doesn't activate the legs like it should. Yeah. Well, anyway, I can see the runway now. So flaps 15. Let's just land this thing.
Sumter traffic, Skyhawk 6529, vacated runway 23, Sumter.
Gear down.
Sumter traffic, Kodiak 36 Extra, passing GAR 2000, ILS runway 23, Sumter.
Sumter traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, 3 mile final, runway 23, straight in. Sumter. Okay, so it's visual, all visual from here now. I will use just flaps 15. That's alright today. We have a long runway. Direct headwind, it's good. Missed that exit point, so I'm gonna do the next one. Flaps up.
Sumter traffic, Kodiak 36 X-ray, 5 mile final, runway 23, Sumter.
Landing lights off, strobe lights off. Sumter traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, runway 23 is vacated, taxiing to the ramp. Sumter. Alright, so even though we suffered the crash to desktop with this simulator, I was able to reload, get flying, and finish this flight.
I think you took out the fuel box there, Thomas.
So thank you for watching, and until next time, feel free to join VATSTAR.com for training, how to fly, correct procedures, and as a bonus, you can be a part of these flights as well. goodbye and safe flying.